Welcome to Speed Round Sunday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share a mini episode from our past for your weekend listening pleasure. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode. So recently on Facebook, I saw this piece about regional sayings or phrases, and it had maps. So it showed that, if you live in this area, you're going to call a carbonated sweet beverage soda, and if you live here, you're going to call it pop, and if you live here, you're going to call it Coke, no matter what it is. So I always think those things are interesting and fun, and I was thinking about it last week on one of our speed rounds when we were talking about things people had borrowed from us, and I've noticed that in where I live now, people will sometimes say they'll use borrow when they mean lend. So they'll say, I can't find such and such book. Did I borrow it to one of you?
Oh, because that was like the title of that speed round episode, and I thought I had just typed it wrong, but now it made sense to half the country. Excellent.
Yeah.
I was mortified, but it's fine.
And so we're all living in places where we didn't grow up. Are there things that you hear and notice that are regional that have taken you by surprise? I think for me, there's a couple more. One is that for some reason in this half of Wisconsin and here and in like Rhode Island are the only places where a water fountain is called a bubbler.
Oh, never heard that.
Yeah, and it's very strange that it's in like these two tiny places. So anyway, Nicole, is there a lot coming from Canada to the U.S. or coming from Canada to Southern California?
Immense. I can't tell you. I mean, it's a whole new language down here. Well, not just because it's the, American. Right. There are American words such we say instead of soda, so Americans say soda, we say pop. Mm-hmm. So can I have a pop to drink?
Yeah, which they say here in the Midwest too, a lot of places.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's like sort of broader American terms that are used. And then, of course, there's Southern California terms, which are a whole other, means a whole other book of directions. So some of the ones that I really struggled to figure out, and now I understand, and of course, I'm guilty of using. So the first one is, if you want to get anywhere for directions, and you want to use the name of a freeway, instead of you use, and I know Terry will know all this stuff, but you put the word the in front of the number of the freeway. Yep. So the 60 or the 10 or
you take the 405 to the
405 to the 10 to the 60 to the to the 1. Yeah. So that was a big one I had to figure out. I'm like, the 10, what are they talking about?
The 10 what?
The 10 what? The other one road related is SIG alert. So there is a SIG alert.
What does that mean?
Do you remember that?
Doesn't mean put out your cigarette.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
It's not about a cigarette. That stands for a traffic incident on the freeway. So if there is a SIG alert, then you know that there is a traffic incident on the freeway
significant?
somewhere.
Is it? I mean, what is it?
I think it has to do with. I remember reading about it because I was trying to figure out what it meant, but it has to do with the police. Some kind of equipment that they were using, or it's related to it's a police-related term that it's short form for some police-related term.
It's one of those things that you grow up hearing, and so you really don't ever acknowledge that it could have any meaning other than just being a single word. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always heard that growing up. I have no idea what it means.
Yeah, I remember looking it up. I can't quite remember what it means anymore. See, it's that far back.
How about you, Terry? You've been in New Jersey for a while now.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I want to say is that I never in my life called a carbonated beverage a soda, at least until I call it that here now. But when I was growing up in California, it was always a soft drink. Do they not call it a soft drink anymore? I don't see that on any of these regionalism maps, but that was a carbonated sweetened beverage that one might call a soda or a pop. We called a soft drink. As opposed to, I guess, hard.
I just know that I can't use the word pop, because if I use the word pop, they have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so if I say the word soda, they'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, here we definitely say soda. And I've just gotten into saying that now. But I also never called a pizza a pie in my life until I got to the East Coast. It was just pizza. Now, so we're going to go get a pie. I'm thinking, well,
right,
apple,
what kind of
cherry,
pie are we talking about?
Right.
That was something, I mean, I know in a dictionary sort of way that it's a pizza pie, but it was never, we always use the first word. Here they tend to, lots of times you hear the second word.
When I was living in New York City and I was on jury duty, and the main action in this case that I was on took place in a pizza restaurant, but the cops, especially when they were testifying, they all called it a pizzeria. And it sounded like so New Yorky to me. Like, well, then the defendant entered the pizzeria, like, over and over again. Like, I felt like I was watching, Law and Order or something. But
seems funny for such an official venue.
Yeah, it's just like
to be using that word.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know, like that's sort of a regional thing too, to call, instead of just saying the pizza shop or the pizza restaurant or whatever.
Right. I'm going on with this for a while, but I will say that my first experience with regionalisms here on the East Coast was walking from my brand new apartment down to a deli nearby and wanting to order myself a cup of coffee and specifying that I wanted regular coffee and getting not what I expected.
Right.
To me, a regular coffee is just coffee. It's just regular coffee, just a cup of regular coffee. And here, apparently, it meant sugar and cream.
Right. You have to say,
I take a sip and go.
You have to say black, right? If you want.
You have to say, no, black could have sugar. I think you have to say black, no sugar. You have to I guess coffee with nothing in it is such an aberration that you have to be very specific. No, nothing in it. Just coffee. Can I please have just coffee?
Well, there's only one way to order coffee in Canada, and that's to say double.
Yeah?
I'll have a double.
So as little actual coffee as possible is involved there?
No, it's 2 cream, 2 sugar.
Yeah.
That's your double. Yeah.
Well, good to know that even the way you order your coffee is a regionalism.
That's right.
Who knew?